Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to another video. Today I want to show you a game that I played somewhere last week, and it's actually a Zerg vs Terran where I decided to go for a really strange build order. I decided to go for a +1/+1 Zergling speed timing attack, which is kind of strange. You will see so very shortly why it is kind of weird, because I don't decide to play anything but Zergling, and maybe a couple Banelings as well at the very end of the game. I don't really remember that. But in this game I play mostly Zerglings, and the reason why I decided to try this in the first place is simply for the fact that I noticed that whenever Stefano ladders up, you know, when he like has a new account and he like ladders up all the way to Grandmaster, he just messes around and he basically beats everyone in Master League playing purely Zergling. So I figured, you know, if Stefano can do that, you know, and he doesn't really need to worry about strategy, doesn't really need to worry about unit composition, and he can just straight up beat his opponents by going for wonky strategies that contain only Zerglings. It should be possible, right? It should be viable. You know, sometimes you get really caught up into all the kinds of strategies that are viable in StarCraft 2, and you think, maybe we should make 5 more Roaches and 3 less Hydralisks and give that a try, and maybe morph in 4 defensive Banelings instead of 2, and you know, you work on these really specific things. But then you see like a pro gamer play at like the same level that you do, and he just sort of messes around, do some random strategies, and he just sort of wins, right? And you know the reason why that happens is simply for the fact that they are macroing much better than you, and they're spending their minerals and whatnot at better things than you, and it doesn't really matter so much what unit composition you're going for. So this is a pretty good example game where I am messing around, doing all kinds of random weird stuff, and it actually tends to work out decently well in this game. And hopefully it will make you think as well a little bit about your strategies, because, you know, it's really important not to overthink everything that you're doing in StarCraft, and you need to realize that everything you do in StarCraft, you know, the more you do it, the easier it's gonna become. And if you really focus a lot on getting the perfect build order out, and the perfect amount of units, and the perfect ratio between Roaches and Hydras, and the perfect amount of Mutalisks compared to Zerglings, it isn't really necessary to think like that, because if your macro is not in check, it is absolutely pointless to think about unit compositions to begin with. So hopefully this game will show you at least a decent example of exactly what I'm talking about right here. Now I decided to look around a little bit with a drone to check if my opponent is doing something cheeky. I realized that there was an SCV out pretty early on the map, and I didn't really see him doing very much. So I decided to give it one more look, but it turns out he's already in my main base, and I'm just gonna send this drone right here to mining, making sure that my opponent is not really doing much of anything. I noticed, by the way, that his barracks was a wonky placement right there at the top of his ramp, but obviously that is simply for the fact that my opponent is very likely to very soon start, you know, like a reactor to get at some extra Reapers. Or some extra Reapers, some extra Hellions rather. So there we go, my opponent is being a little bit annoying with one Hellion, or with one Reaper right here, the most, you know, common out of common openers right now. All my drones are becoming kind of low health, but he's not really chasing them. He knows that he's likely not gonna get a kill anyway, and the last thing that he really wants to have happen right now is that he loses this Reaper, so he's just microing it back. And, you know, I'm just trying to make sure that I don't lose too many units right here. Lost already 2 Zerglings. Not really the best of things, but it's no biggie. And I am gonna send this Queen out right now and make sure that my opponent stops this shenanigans while I'm waiting for my Zergling speed to finish up. Until my Zergling speed is finishing up, you know, until it's done, it's gonna be very difficult for me to defend Reapers, but I know for a fact that the Reaper play is on a timer, so to say. Right now, he's really not gonna be moving out with that Reaper too far, because he knows he can get caught on creep, but off creep, he's pretty much able to roam the map. I know right now that there's not gonna be any kind of map control that I can really take at this moment, so all I'm really trying to do right now is scout out what my opponent is doing, maybe get a creep tumor going or so, and just make as many drones as I possibly can without really dying. Getting my 3rd Queen out right now as well, and I'm gonna try and squeeze out a 3rd base, but I'm not completely sure if it's even gonna go up. I mean, the Reaper of him might very well already be at my 3rd base, so I'm just giving it a try and see if it might happen. So there we go, my drone is just about to arrive at the 3rd base, and I apparently get that for free, which happens all the time actually in Zerg vs Terran, because Terran players kind of want you to take that 3rd as well. Zergling speed just finished up. I decided to add the drones back in the gas geyser and start another gas up right there as well. I also should make a big, you know, I should probably make a big round of Zerglings right now. There we go, 8 Zerglings going down, just to make sure that I can defend these Hellions that are moving out right now without any issues. And the reason why I knew, by the way, that the Hellions were moving out is simply by seeing that my opponent is playing Standard. If my opponent is playing Standard, I I am simply expecting, you know, the Hellions to roam across the map right around 6.5 to 7-ish minutes. That's a really standard timing, and we could see them move around right there as well. Now I notice my opponent does have the third Commensal already out, so he is really playing quite greedy himself as well. I am gonna run, however. I'm going to make sure that I get my double evolution chamber out, and then I'm gonna, you know, take some map control back. With my Zerglings. At the very least, I should really be doing that right now. I have a big amount of Zerglings. I am free to roam with those. So there we go. Running across the map with all the links, and I'm making a couple of drones right now. And I'm gonna start droning up my third base very shortly as well. It should finish up in just a couple of seconds. So here we go. I haven't really noticed where his units went. I don't really know where they are. It looks like they did decide to go back home. So I know that he's probably trying to save them up for something. Alright, he's really doing something right there, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm a little bit confused by it because, you know, most of the time they are able to simply, you know, move across the map for a little bit longer. And right now he sent them home all the way. So I'm like, okay, he is likely gonna do some engagement because he really does not want to lose it right now. I decided to get my Baneling Nest out right here, and I'm actually pretty sure, now I think about it a little bit more, I'm pretty sure I actually play really heavy Baning. I said at the beginning of this game that I am going to make only a couple Banes, but I'm pretty sure I actually play pretty heavy Baneling in this game. My +1/+1 is just now started, and my lair just finished up as well. I really want to start my Baneling speed very soon. And, you know, I'm just trying to drone up right now. I really honestly should have a little bit more map vision though right now. I really don't know if my opponent is even moving across the map. But what I have decided is that when I have enough drones at my third base, what I'm gonna do is start simply only making units. I'm not making a Spire right now, I'm not really making anything. There we go, I'm finally sending a Zergling out to get some scouting done. But I'm not really doing anything, I'm just gonna make non-stop units from here on out. I am done droning up, not making Mutalisk, not going to attack up to a hive. I am simply, well, making a couple more drones to get these gases saturated as well, but I'm simply gonna make non-stop Zerglings right now. Getting a macro hatchery up simply to produce more Zerglings because it will produce me extra larvae, and I noticed, okay, my opponent is trying to land his third command center right now, pretty standard timing. So what I'm doing is, well, I'm making non-stop units. I have made drones in this game, made a big round of Zerglings in between because I needed to be safe versus what my opponent was doing. But besides that, after droning up, I'm not tacking up, I'm just simply making units. Now, what I'm gonna do very shortly is morph in a bunch of Banelings. +1/+1 is just about to finish up, by the way. But morph in a bunch of Banelings and go for the move out. And what this should show you is that, well, unit compositions oftentimes don't really matter. Because, you know, as long as your macro is in check, you can just sort of play whatever. +1/+1 is just now done. Baneling speed sadly not quite done. It is about to finish up, however. So I should really try and wait with this engagement until my upgrades are done. Trying to figure out where my opponent's army is at currently. Gonna run a Zergling forward, at least I should. Or at the very least, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna run my units forward. Baneling speed is just about to finish up. And I decide to simply attack move my opponent's army. And my opponent is not used to these sort of engagements. He really does not see these sort of fights. He actually just picked up with the dropship. He actually just picked up a whole bunch of units. And he's like, alright, wait, what? This is like a 12-minute-ish Zergling Bane bust? Like, what is happening right here? And my opponent does indeed drop at the back of my base right now, but my Zerglings are plenty to deal with everything that he has right now. So hopefully this game gave you at least a little bit of an idea of things you can try and mess around with. Make sure you don't obsess too much over the unit composition and really focus on the macro aspect, as it is going to carry you so much further than any unit composition and any like intense micro is really going to take you. I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. And other than that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to smile and see you in the next one.